Welcome back to the Real Bio Protocol, the channel where we break down the science of peptides, fitness and health optimization that most people will never hear about. Today we are diving into something that could completely change the way you think about cholesterol and the pills 40 million Americans swallow every single day. We are going to cover exactly how the original studies were manipulated, what the real science says about LDL, the side effects they buried, and exactly what you need to do to protect yourself. Stay with us until the end, because we are going to give you the full protocol. Let's get into it. Here's what you are about to learn. The original study that launched the statin empire excluded everyone who got sick from the drug before the trial even started. The side effects doctors call rare happen to 1 in 5 patients, and the cholesterol number your doctor is obsessed with might be the wrong target entirely. This is not conspiracy. This is published data they hope you never read. ACT1, the setup: you go to your doctor for a routine checkup. They run your blood work. Your LDL comes back at 130. Your doctor frowns and says those 4 words that change everything. We need to talk. 10 minutes later, you walk out with a prescription for a statin. You are told this tiny pill will save your life. You are told high cholesterol causes heart attacks. You are told this is settled science. But what if I told you the entire foundation of that conversation is built on manipulated data and buried research? What if the cholesterol-heart disease connection is far weaker than you have been told? What if the drug you are taking causes muscle damage, cognitive decline, and diabetes at rates that would shock you? Statins are a $29 billion industry. They are the most prescribed drug class in American history, and the marketing machine behind them has convinced an entire generation of doctors that lowering LDL is the single most important thing they can do for your heart. But here is the problem. When you actually dig into the original trials, when you follow the money, when you look at what happened to the researchers who questioned the narrative, a very different picture emerges. One that the pharmaceutical industry has spent decades trying to keep hidden. ACT2, the science. Let us start with the study that launched everything. The famous 4S trial in 1994. This was the landmark research that proved statins save lives. Or did it? What most people do not know is that this trial had a run-in period. Before the actual study began, they gave everyone the statin for several weeks. Anyone who experienced side effects was removed from the trial. Anyone who could not tolerate the drug never made it into the data. They literally cherry-picked the people least likely to have problems, then told the world the drug was safe. Then there is the Jupiter trial. This was the study that expanded statin prescriptions to millions of healthy people. The lead researcher owned the patent on the test used to measure inflammation in the study. He stood to make millions if the results came out positive. Surprise! The results came out positive. The trial was stopped early, before the long-term side effects could show up in the data. Here's what the actual numbers show. For people who have never had a heart attack, statins reduce your absolute risk of having one by about 1% over 5 years. 1%. That means you need to give the drug to 100 people for 5 years to prevent a single heart attack. Meanwhile, between 15 and 20% of people on statins experience muscle pain. 5 to 10% develop new-onset diabetes. And emerging research links long-term statin use to cognitive impairment and memory problems. ACT3, how it works. Let me explain why this matters at a biological level. Cholesterol is not a toxin floating in your blood waiting to kill you. It is a building block. Every single cell membrane in your body is made of cholesterol. Your brain is 60% fat and relies heavily on cholesterol to function. Your hormones, including testosterone and estrogen, are synthesized from cholesterol. When you artificially crush cholesterol production with a statin, you are not just affecting your arteries. You are affecting every cell in your body. Statins work by blocking an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase. This is the same pathway that produces coenzyme Q10, a molecule essential for energy production in your mitochondria. This is why so many statin users feel fatigued and experience muscle weakness. You are literally starving your muscles of the energy they need to function. Here is the bigger issue. The cholesterol hypothesis assumes that LDL particles are the primary cause of arterial plaque, but more recent research shows that inflammation and oxidized LDL are the real culprits. Having high LDL is not the same as having damaged arteries. It is like blaming firefighters for fires because they keep showing up at burning buildings. ACT4, the protocol. So what should you actually do with this information? First, get a more comprehensive lipid panel. Standard cholesterol tests only measure total LDL. What you need to know is your LDL particle number, your particle size, and your inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and LPA. Small dense LDL particles are far more dangerous than large fluffy ones. The total number means almost nothing without context. Second, address the root cause. Arterial damage comes from inflammation, insulin resistance, and oxidative stress. Focus on stabilizing your blood sugar through a lower carbohydrate diet. Prioritize omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish. Get your vitamin D levels tested and optimized. Exercise is one of the most powerful interventions for cardiovascular health, and it costs nothing. Third, if you are currently on a statin, do not stop taking it without talking to your doctor, but do ask questions. Ask about coenzyme Q10 supplementation. Ask about your actual absolute risk reduction. Ask to see the NNT number needed to treat. An informed patient is a protected patient. ACT5 week-by-week results. If you start implementing these changes, here's what to expect. In week 1, you are establishing baseline labs and starting to adjust your diet. In week 2, you may notice improved energy if you add CoQ10 and reduce processed carbohydrates. By week 4, your fasting glucose and inflammatory markers often start improving. At week 8, many people see significant improvements in their triglyceride to HDL ratio, which is actually a better predictor of cardiovascular risk than LDL alone. By week 12, you have real data to discuss with your doctor about whether your current protocol makes sense for your individual situation. The payoff here is what you now know that most people never will. The original statin trials were designed to show success by removing anyone who got sick before the data collection started. The absolute risk reduction for healthy people is around 1%. The side effects are far more common than the rare label suggests. And cholesterol itself is not the enemy. Inflammation and metabolic dysfunction are. You are not powerless here. You now have the information to ask better questions, demand better tests, and make decisions based on your actual risk rather than a single number on a lab report. That is real empowerment. The science is out there and now you have it. That is why we are here. This is the Real Bio Protocol. If you got value from this video, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe. It is completely free and it takes 2 seconds. We drop new content every single day, so hit that notification bell. See you in the next one. If you enjoyed this upload, do not forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Tune in again for the next upload. This has been the Real Bio Protocol.